Welcome into On the Pulse. It is that time for another set of Challenger Qualifier workouts to be released as we get set for tour stop number 2 over in Mesa, Arizona. I am Derek Forrest, and joining me today as we release these workouts is the Director of Sport, Will Morad. Will, how you doing today?
Good morning. I'm good. I'm in Mesa, actually, just doing a site visit with the whole crew. So can't complain. It's a little early, but this is the job.
Yeah, yeah, totally feel you. But yeah, it's just about time to get to business. As for Challenger Qualifier number 2, it's going to start on July 2nd at 8 a.m. Central Time. It will go till the 8th at 8 p.m. Central Time. Now, 9 men and women, they're going to have a chance to qualify for spots in the Pro Division in Mesa, while spots 10 through 29 will qualify into the Challenger Division. Now, keep in mind the highest ranking Challenger in the Pro Division for Tour Stop 1 received an automatic invite to Tour Stop 2 in both the men's and the women's division. But Will, what was your thought process in changing the times to submit workouts for the week?
Yeah, I think it just opens up a little bit more opportunity for people to do the workouts right when they're released. Europe is 6 to 10 hours ahead of some places in the world. So it was really just to even up the playing field. A lot of these athletes like to get a few of them done as early as possible because the window isn't super long to get them done. So it was just to try and give them more opportunities, not just for the North American athletes to have an ideal time frame.
Gotcha. Yeah, and as we get set to show these workouts here in a little bit, what were your thoughts when putting these together this time around? Did you do anything differently based off of what you learned from Challenger Qualifier 1?
Uh, no, I think the intent of the qualifiers, we kind of wrote them all together for the whole year. This qualifier is a little bit different. I don't want to say it's harder, but I think what's on the line for these athletes that are qualifying for Mesa and the opportunity to gain points in the in-person in Mesa is a big deal. So we wanted to level it up a little bit higher skill, a little bit heavier weights. Just the nature of the tests when we get into them, you'll see is I think demands a little bit more. The barrier to entry is a little bit higher, I guess.
All right, well, let's get right to it and let's take a look at them. Let's take a look at Challenger Qualifier workout number 1.
Challenger Qualifier 2, workout number 1, is a pyramid chipper for time. The athletes will start with a 50 or 35 calorie row, then progress to 50 GHD sit-ups. Next, they will perform 50 dumbbell box step overs using a 50 centimeter box. Then progress to 50 alternating dumbbell hang clean and jerks. Return for 50 more dumbbell box step overs, 50 more GHD sit-ups, and finish with a 50 or 35 calorie row. Men will use one 32.5 kilo dumbbell, and the women will use one 22.5 kilo dumbbell. There is a 20-minute time cap for this workout.
All right, Will, just like the first qualifier, we've got another long one. How important was it to you when selecting these athletes for the tour stop to have a longer time domain workout?
Yeah, with just making sure that we have a balanced qualifier is important, and making sure that as many time domains are tested as possible within, the parameters of a 3 event qualifier. So yeah, it's definitely important to do something a little bit longer. The first one we had a 20-minute, just more cyclical piece where you could just go. This one has a little bit higher skill, more implements are involved. So yeah, it's very important to make sure that we're always adding to what the roster of movements is for the season. And we introduced a couple new movements in this for the qualifier setting. So
During tour stop number 1, the standard for the GHD was a little bit different in Indy. Will the standard be the same this time around?
yeah, we'll do the same thing just throughout the season. I think it makes sense just for some continuity for the athletes that they know the way that we're doing them for the WFP. So we're just going to stick with that.
All right. And do you have any advice for athletes taking this one on? Um, and do you expect these athletes to do the workout more than once?
Yeah, I think people will be able to do this one. It's a little bit tricky. You'll do it once and kind of figure out that you can probably hold the throttle down a little bit longer than you think you can, and you can come out hotter on that first row also than you think you can. But we introduced GHDs into a qualifier setting, the dumbbell step overs and the hang dumbbell clean and jerk. So a couple different movements are added in there. You can keep a high pace similar to the first qualifier workout in qualifier
Mhm.
one,
Mhm.
but just a little bit different demand, with the movements. So this one's pretty tough on the midline. You're under tension the whole time through your midline. That's at least what I felt. And yeah, 15 to 17 minutes. We'll see what these guys can put down. That last row gets pretty dark.
All right. Well, it's time to move on to Challenger Qualifier workout number 2.
Challenger Qualifier 2, workout number 2, is a 9-minute AMRAP. One round will consist of 9 bar-facing burpees, 6 snatches at 83 kilos for the men, or 56 kilos for the women, and 3 rope climbs to 4.6 meters. For this workout, there is a tie break at the completion of the 3rd round.
All right. Well, burpees seem to be a controversial topic as of late. So, when it comes to the burpees for this workout, what are you and the judges specifically looking for when it comes to the movement?
Yeah, just chest, thighs touch the ground and get over the bar. I think the in the first one we had the lateral burpees and there was some concern with people going around the edge of the rower. So I think for this one we were like, you know what, let's just do bar facing burpees and try to mitigate any of the little things that the athletes and the coaches will do just to try and be more efficient. So we went over the bar for this one. We added 3 new movements to this workout as well that we hadn't had in the first qualifier, which is good. And it's a little bit higher skill involved here. It's higher rope climb or a higher volume of rope climbs by the end of the workout, a heavier barbell, and you kind of got to keep your foot on the throttle for this one. I think it's a little bit of a pull limiter. The athletes will feel that their pull just that bar gets heavier and heavier as you go. But yeah, it's a fun one.
You essentially answered my next question, but if you can explain, how quickly do you think this workout will compound on the athlete?
Yeah, quickly. I don't think anybody's touch and go on that barbell. They can power or squat. The pole gets pretty fatigued, so I wouldn't be surprised if some athletes end up squatting in the later rounds. But I think 90-second rounds would be really impressive for this one,
Mhm.
and making sure that you don't fail any of those snatches. That, like I said, that bar gets pretty heavy towards the end.
All right, we've got one more workout to look at, so let's check out Challenger Qualifier workout 3.
Challenger Qualifier 2, workout number 3, is a pyramid chipper for time. Athletes will start with 21 barbell thrusters at 61 or 43 kilos. Then progress to complete 14 shallow runs, one shallow run equaling to 7.6 meters. Next, they will complete a set of 42 chest to bar pull-ups, then return for 14 more shallow runs, and finally finish with 21 thrusters. There is a 6-minute time cap for this workout, and the tie break is the completion of the chest to bar.
Will, we've got another chipper style workout here. Can you talk about how this one is different, especially since this one is going to be moving so much faster?
Yeah, this one's all about cadence of the thrusters and speed on the shuttle runs. I would assume that most of the athletes will go unbroken on those chest to bars, and it'll come down to how quickly you can turn over that barbell and how quickly you can cycle through your shuttle runs. We did this one a few different ways, a couple different weights, and it really came down to not being afraid of really pushing the shuttle runs and then keeping the throttle down on that second set of thrusters, especially. It's easy to maybe want to rest. And I think for the caliber of athletes that will be qualifying down into Mesa, they'll be able to keep a really fast cadence on this throughout. Um, I threes, mid threes would be feasible, I think, for the top performers in this. But yeah, from my standpoint, you got to go unbroken and you got to move fast. And a no rep here or there in a video review could be really costly with just how short this workout will be. So make sure everything's clean and keep the foot on the gas.
Yeah, everyone loves thrusters, right? But it's a little bit heavier than the typical standard. Obviously, these are elite athletes, but do you think that'll kind of be a separator, and will that be an impact in this workout?
Yeah, I think that second set, you the guys and girls that are going to qualify, you can keep a high cadence. I tested it, Sax tested it, and that was both of us were like, man, you can definitely just go for it on the last set of thrusters. There's no reason to really slow down.
All right. So as we look back at all three workouts, how intentional was it for you to make sure that you had three different time domains covered for these three workouts?
It was pretty important. We wanted to make sure to cover a wide selection of time domains and demand different things of these athletes. So I think we covered that here. We added in a bunch of new movements into the qualifier setting, which is also good. So it'll be exciting. I think the athletes that come out of this will be able to hold their own in Mesa, and that's what we want.
When you mentioned adding new movements for this qualifier, was that intentional to kind of make it different from qualifier one to make sure you're still testing different things with these athletes?
Yeah, absolutely. And that'll be a trend throughout the year. There's some movements that will show up at most of the events, but by the end of the year, the plan is to have tested as many movements as we can. And we did that here. That trend's going to continue in Mesa, and then we'll finish up in Copenhagen. So there's a lot of new stuff coming.
All right. So we've already done one of these qualifiers for Indy. Do you have any specific tips for the athletes as they get set for qualifier two?
Yeah. Give a full effort, of course, and make sure that you read all of the rules, you go through all the movement standards. Please measure your boxes, your shuttle runs, all that stuff. Weigh your weights and make sure you show the row calories either on an app, that shows it on the screen or on your camera. There's going to be penalties applied to the athletes that don't do those things. So make sure that all that stuff, excuse me, is as clear as day, and there shouldn't be any issues.
All right, athletes, don't forget Challenger Qualifier 2 is going to take place from July 2nd, starting again at 8 a.m. Central Time through the 8th, ending at 8 p.m. Central Time. Again, 9 spots up for grabs in the Pro Division in Mesa, Arizona, while the next 20 spots to qualify after will have a spot in the Challenger Division. Again, the highest ranked male, Colton Mertens, and the highest ranked female, Fee Sagafi from Tour Stop 1, received an automatic invite to Tour Stop 2. But that is going to do it for another edition of On the Pulse. For Will Morad, I am Derek Forrest. Athletes, Challenger Qualifier 2 starts now. Have fun, good luck, and we will see you in Arizona.